Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're taking a look at Steve Burns' book, New Trader, Rich Trader 2.
Great book.
It is, we're really focusing in on the psychology and the methodology, of trading and how to win,
Yeah.
how to think like a winner, and how to make winning trades.
This is a great book to learn that from.
Absolutely. So, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So this book is like a masterclass in the mental game of
Right.
trading. Burns really emphasizes
Absolutely.
that it's not about picking the right stocks as much as it is about mastering your emotions
Right.
and really your whole approach to the market.
Yeah, it's not stock picking. It's like he says it's about your inner game and your outer game.
Yeah, your inner game.
Yeah, and the inner game is more important.
It is the most important thing. And that's the hardest thing to master, right?
Yes, it is because you're fighting human nature.
Yeah. You're fighting human nature. So, there's that great story
Yeah.
in the book where new trader comes back to rich trader after a year, all excited, like, I made a 22% return.
Yeah, 22%.
And rich trader's like, meh,
Not impressed.
not impressed. It's kind of a reality check.
Right.
Because, most of us would be pretty stoked about a 22% return on our money.
Yeah, for sure. But when you look at it over the long term,
Mm-hmm.
1 year is just 1 year.
It's just 1 year.
And to be successful over 10 or 20 years,
Right.
it takes a different kind of discipline and methodology.
It does, and that's where a lot of traders get tripped up, is they're focused on these short-term gains
Yeah.
without really building that solid foundation
Right.
of discipline and risk management and having a system that you can trust.
Absolutely. The process. It's like
Uh,
anything else that you want to be good at.
wait.
You can't just jump in and be an expert.
Right.
It takes time to develop the skills, the mindset, and the discipline to be successful over the long term.
Yeah, and so much of it, this is kind of a personal question, but have you ever
Yeah.
made a trading decision based on fear?
Oh, of course everybody does. I mean, you get afraid when you start losing money.
Right.
You get afraid when you're in a winning trade.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, I better take my profit now
Right.
before it goes against me. So fear is always there.
Fear and greed.
Greed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want more. I want more.
Yeah.
And those emotions, those are the things that get people in trouble.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about this before we started recording.
Yeah.
It's like holding on to a losing position too long because you're just afraid to cut your losses.
Right. And then it turns into a bigger loss, and then you really get afraid, and then you might even freeze up and not do anything.
Right.
So you got to catch your losses quickly when you realize you're wrong.
It's like the old adage, right? Cut your losses short, let your winners run.
That's it. Exactly.
But that's easier said than done when you're in the moment.
It's very hard. You're fighting human nature again.
Yeah, you are. So Burns uses this really cool analogy of a
Yeah.
baseball player.
Right.
You know,
Because the best hitters in baseball fail most of the time.
they strike out.
They strike out way more than they get hits.
Right.
And the same is true for trading.
Exactly.
You're not going to win every trade.
Right.
In fact, you're going to lose a lot more than you win if you're a good trader.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about that, the best batters strike out the majority of the time.
Right. That's why it's so important to have a system that gives you an edge.
Right.
Something that tilts the odds in your favor.
Okay.
So even if you're only winning, let's say 40% of the time,
Right.
your winners are bigger than your losers.
Right.
And you come out ahead in the long run.
Yeah. It's like shifting your focus from, hitting home runs every at bat to just playing the long game.
Exactly.
It's like you're not going to win every trade, but you can increase your odds of success
Right.
by making smart, disciplined decisions over time.
Right. And that comes back to the inner game. You got to be able to control your emotions.
Yeah.
You got to be patient,
Right.
disciplined, and have the confidence to stick to your plan even when things are going against you.
So Burns talks about these 5 fuels for trading success.
Yes.
Desire, passion, faith, resources, and knowledge.
Yeah, it's a great list.
And it seems kind of like just a list at first, but
Yeah.
the more you think about it, it's like they're all really interconnected.
Yeah, they all feed into each other.
Yeah.
Your desire fuels your initial goals.
Right.
But it's passion that keeps you going when things get tough.
Okay.
Pushes you to research, to learn, to refine your approach. And then that deeper knowledge feeds your faith in the system you're building.
It's like a feedback loop,
Exactly.
each element strengthening the others.
And then you need the resources.
Yeah.
Capital, the tools, the mentors, maybe even a supportive community
Right.
to really make things happen. So it's like a whole ecosystem.
Yeah. Like all those things have to be working in concert
Yeah,
to really achieve that success.
absolutely.
But then there's also, it's one thing to have, all the knowledge in the world or all the resources, But you still have to take action.
Absolutely. You got to do the work.
Right. Like Burns emphasizes that, mentors can guide you,
Yeah, they can show you the way.
but ultimately you have to be the one to, jump in the water
Right.
and apply what you've learned.
You got to take the risk.
So how about you? Like, are you letting fear or self-doubt hold you back from taking that leap?
Well, I'm always trying to learn and grow. I'm always looking for ways to improve my trading, so I try to keep an open mind
Yeah.
and not let fear hold me back. But it's a constant battle.
Yeah, it is.
It's like anything else in life, You got to face your fears and keep moving forward.
That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a great point. Knowledge without action is
Right.
kind of useless.
Yeah.
And speaking of taking action,
Okay.
that leads us perfectly into, the meat of this deep dive. Really
Yeah.
figuring out what separates good trades from bad trades.
Right.
And Burns breaks this down in a way that's both insightful and actionable.
Yeah, he does.
You know?
I like how he doesn't just tell you what to do. He really gives you the why behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He wants you to understand the principles.
Yeah.
Not just memorize a set of rules.
Right.
And one of the first things he tackles is the importance of confidence and having a solid method.
Right.
He's adamant that good trades
Yeah.
aren't based on gut feelings or hot tips,
Okay.
or what you heard on CNBC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's saying don't blindly follow the herd.
Right.
Do your own homework.
Exactly.
Or-
And that homework in this case is having a system,
Yeah.
a methodology
Okay.
that you've back tested and refined something that gives you an edge.
Right. So your edge is like what is it that you're good at
Right.
that gives you an advantage in the market?
Exactly. It
Yeah.
could be, your ability to read charts or your understanding of a specific sector,
Okay.
or a unique indicator that you've developed.
Gotcha.
It's whatever gives you that slight advantage.
So you're not just, throwing darts at a dartboard.
Right.
You're actually like a skilled archer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And once you have that system, then it comes down to discipline and managing your position size.
Okay.
And this is where a lot of traders, even experienced ones, stumble.
Yeah.
They get caught up in chasing losses,
Right.
or going all in on a trade that they feel is a sure thing.
It's that emotional part again.
Right.
It's like the fear and the greed
Exactly.
coming back.
And Burns is very clear about the importance of shrinking your position size when you're in a losing streak.
Okay.
No matter how tempting it is to try and make it all back at once.
Right, like doubling down
Right, exactly.
to trying to get back to even.
And think about it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you have a $10,000 account
Okay.
and you're using the 1% rule.
Mhm.
So you risk $100 per trade.
Okay.
You hit a rough patch and you lose 5 trades in a row. That's a $500 drawdown.
Okay.
Now, if you double down on your next trade, trying to make it all back, and you lose again, you've just dug yourself a deeper hole.
That's not good.
But if you stick to your plan
Right.
and keep your risk consistent, you're protecting your capital and giving yourself the chance to recover when the market turns in your favor.
Okay, so it's like you're weathering the storm.
Exactly.
Wow.
You batten down the hatches and ride it out,
Okay.
knowing that calmer seas are ahead.
Right.
And then once you're through the storm, that's when you can start increasing your position size
Okay.
as you ride the next wave of winning trades.
Gotcha. So we've got a solid system. We're managing our risks like pros. What's next?
Well, then it comes down to knowing when to enter a trade.
Okay.
And Burns calls this, entry parameters.
Okay.
And patience is key here.
Right.
He's all about waiting for your specific signals,
Right.
not jumping into a trade
Yeah.
just because you're afraid of missing out.
Right. So no more FOMOing into trades.
Exactly.
Just because everyone else is doing it.
Right. Stick to your plan, wait for your setup,
Okay.
and don't let the hype train derail your strategy.
So it's all about like trusting the process.
Exactly.
And not getting swayed by what other people are doing.
Right. You've done your research. You have your system. Trust it.
Okay. And once you're in a trade, it's all about, sticking to your plan and not letting greed take over.
Right.
Right.
Burns talks about how focusing on consistent execution of your strategy
Yeah.
rather than chasing those massive quick wins is what leads to sustainable profitability.
Okay.
He actually calls it, profitability within the plan.
Okay.
It's about remembering that trading is a marathon,
Right.
not a sprint.
Right.
Those small, consistent wins add up over time,
Yeah.
and they're much more reliable than than trying to hit a home run with every trade.
Right. It's like shifting your mindset from get rich quick to build wealth steadily.
Exactly. It's a much healthier and sustainable approach in the long run.
Yeah, it is.
And speaking of a long-term mindset, one of the things Burns really emphasizes is the importance of managing your ego.
Oh, this is a big one.
Yeah,
I think every trader struggles with this at some point.
absolutely.
It's so easy to let your self-worth get tied up in your trading results.
Right. You know, a winning trade makes you feel like a genius.
Right.
A losing trade makes you question everything.
It makes you feel like an idiot.
Exactly.
Right.
But Burns encourages traders to detach themselves from those emotional swings.
So how do you do that? How do you like separate your emotions from, the ups and downs of the market?
Well, he frames each trade as a data point,
Okay.
just one experiment in a much larger process.
Okay.
And just like with any experiment,
Right.
sometimes you get the results you expect and sometimes you don't.
Right.
But it's the learning, the constant refinement that really matters.
So it's not about beating yourself up over every loss or getting overly excited about every win. It's about learning from each trade
Exactly.
and using that information to improve your process.
That's it.
Okay.
And that ties into the final point Burns makes about good trades.
Okay.
Avoiding internal conflict.
Okay.
He talks about how doubt and second-guessing yourself can
Yeah.
lead to instability and poor decision-making.
Yeah, it's like that saying, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, if you're constantly questioning your system or jumping between strategies,
Yeah?
you're never going to achieve that consistency.
Okay.
That's so crucial for long-term success.
So you're saying like once you've picked a strategy, you got to stick with it.
Yeah, you got to commit to your path and your process,
Okay.
trusting the system you've built.
Okay.
And that brings us to the question of how to create a robust methodology that embodies all of these principles.
Right.
And this is where Burns gets really practical.
Okay.
You know, walking you through the steps of developing a plan that's tailored to you.
So it's not just about copying someone else's strategy. It's about figuring out what works for you.
Exactly.
Your personality, your trading style.
Exactly. It starts with a solid trading plan.
Yeah.
You know, blueprint
Okay.
that outlines your rules.
Right.
Your entry and exit criteria,
Okay.
your position sizing,
Okay.
your risk management strategy, and your chosen time frame.
So it's like a set of guardrails to keep you on track
Exactly.
and prevent you from making impulsive decisions.
Right.
Right.
But a plan is only as good as its foundation.
Okay. Right.
So
Yeah.
Burns also talks a lot about the importance of identifying your personal edge.
Okay. This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, this is the fun part.
Right.
You know, what gives you an advantage in the market?
Right.
Is it your ability to read charts, your understanding of a specific sector, a unique indicator you've developed?
Right.
This is where your knowledge, your experience, and your passion
Yeah.
really come into play.
So it's like finding that superpower. Right. That sets you apart from the crowd.
Exactly.
Okay.
And once you've identified your edge, then you can build your methodology around it.
Okay.
Leveraging your strengths
Right.
to create a system that's uniquely yours.
So you're not just a cookie cutter trader. You're like a custom made trader.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about those times when you hit a losing streak and you start questioning everything?
Right.
Burns talks about the importance of time frame consistency, right?
Yeah, he's a big advocate for sticking to the time frame you've mastered,
Okay.
whether that's day trading, swing trading, or long-term investing.
Okay.
Don't let losses or fear push you out of your comfort zone.
So no more jumping between day trading and holding stocks long term just because you had a bad week.
Exactly.
Okay.
Stick to your guns,
Yeah.
trust your process,
Okay.
and ride out those inevitable market fluctuations.
All right. So just stay the course,
Exactly.
even when it gets tough.
And most importantly, stay objective. Burns constantly emphasizes the need to react to price reality,
Okay.
not to your hopes or dreams or biases.
So don't let your emotions cloud your judgment.
Exactly. The market is going to do what it's going to do,
Yeah.
regardless of how we feel about it.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. The mindset, the principles of good trades, the framework for building a robust methodology.
Right. We're getting there.
But there's one crucial element that we haven't touched on yet.
Yeah.
Something that Burns considers absolutely essential
Okay.
for long-term trading success?
You're talking about risk management.
You know it.
Mm-hmm.
Risk management. It's funny because it's not really like a sexy topic, right? It's not the thing that gets you all excited about trading.
Yeah.
But it's really the bedrock of everything we've been talking about.
Ah.
You can have the best trading system in the world, but if you don't manage your risk, you're playing with fire.
You're going to blow up your account eventually.
Yeah, you are.
It's like building a house on sand. You might have a beautiful structure, but one big wave and it's all gone.
Yeah.
Burns really hammers this home in the book.
Yeah.
He emphasizes that risk management is non-negotiable,
Right.
especially if you want to survive, those inevitable market storms.
Yeah, and he lays out some really clear, actionable principles
Right.
that any trader can implement,
Yeah.
no matter their experience level. And the first one he talks about is the 1% rule. Can you remind us what that is again?
Yeah, the 1% rule is basically never risk more than 1% of your total trading capital
Okay.
on any single trade.
So, it sounds basic, but it's actually, harder to stick to than you think.
It is. It takes discipline.
It does, because
Yeah.
even if you're super confident about a trade,
Yeah.
there's always that element of uncertainty.
Right. You never know for sure what's going to happen.
Right, and if you over-leverage yourself, even one bad trade can really set you back.
Oh, yeah. It can wipe you out. Think about it this way. Let's say you have a $50,000 trading account.
Okay.
Following the 1% rule, you'd risk no more than $500 on a single trade.
Okay.
Now imagine you have a string of losing trades.
Right.
If you're risking 5% per trade, those losses add up a lot faster,
Yeah.
and it becomes much harder to recover.
Right. So sticking to the 1% rule keeps you in the game,
Exactly.
giving you the opportunity to learn from your mistakes and make adjustments without blowing up your account.
All right, it's all about survival.
Yeah.
You got to stay in the game long enough to learn and improve.
And it ties back to that risk of ruin concept we
Right.
touched on earlier, right?
Even if you have a high win rate, if your position sizing is too large,
Right.
one or two bad trades can wipe out all your gains and then some.
So you can have a great strategy,
Yeah.
but if you don't manage your risk properly,
Right.
you can still lose it all.
You can blow up.
Yeah.
It's like a gambler who keeps doubling down
Right.
every time they lose.
Eventually, they're going to hit a losing streak.
Yeah, and they're going to be out of the game.
Yeah.
So the 1% rule is like an insurance policy.
Okay.
It protects you from those black swan events.
Those unexpected market shifts?
Right, the things that nobody sees coming.
Okay, 1% rule. Got it.
Yeah.
What's the next risk management principle Burns emphasizes?
Well, he's also a big proponent of aiming for a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio.
Okay, can you break that down for me? Because I know some people listening might not be familiar with that.
Exactly, sure. Basically, it means that for every trade you take, the potential profit should be at least 3 times greater than your potential loss.
Gotcha.
So let's go back to that $50,000 trading account.
Okay.
You're risking $500 on a trade, so your stop loss is set at $500 below your entry price.
Right.
To achieve a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio, your profit target would need to be $1,500
Okay.
above your entry price.
So even if you only win 33% of your trades,
Yeah.
you're still breaking even.
Right, because your winners are 3 times bigger
Right.
than your losers.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this can be really powerful.
It is. It's all about tilting the odds in your favor.
Yeah, and making those losses less impactful.
Exactly.
Right.
You can afford to lose a few trades
Yeah.
as long as your winners are big enough
Right.
to make up for it.
Gotcha. So this has been a really insightful deep dive. I feel like we've covered so much ground,
We have.
from the psychology of trading to developing a robust methodology
Right.
and mastering risk management.
It's all connected.
Burns has packed a ton of wisdom into this book.
Yes, he's a great teacher.
He is, and I think the biggest takeaway is that trading success is about so much more
Yeah.
than just picking stocks or following charts.
Right.
It's about developing a winning mindset,
Absolutely.
having a solid plan,
Yeah.
and managing your risk effectively.
It's all about the process.
Yeah.
The continuous learning, the pursuit of mastery.
And it's about mastering the inner game just as much as the outer game.
Exactly. Got to be able to control your emotions.
Right.
Your fear, your greed,
Yeah.
your ego.
All those things that can sabotage your success.
Right. It's a constant battle.
It is. Burns uses this great analogy of a farmer. A bad crop doesn't make them any less of a farmer.
Right. It's just one season
Right.
in a much larger cycle.
And your identity as a trader shouldn't be tied to your daily wins and losses.
Exactly.
It's about the process, the continuous learning, the pursuit of mastery.
That's it.
So, well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired
Yeah.
to revisit New Trader, Rich Trader 2
Yeah, me too.
with fresh eyes and really dig into these principles we've discussed today.
Absolutely. And I encourage all our listeners to do the same.
Yeah.
Take these insights, apply them to your own trading journey, and remember the most important investment you can make is in yourself.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, happy trading, everyone.